Hi students, we'll get into the next session, continuation of nuclei. Last topic in this, radioactivity, quite important topic only, you know, you are very well aware. Here, what is radioactivity and few things like properties of alpha, beta, gamma that show that n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t, and then half-life, mean life, and all those things will be seen, okay. And even Soddy's group displacement law will be seeing given that. Radioactivity, what is the definition of radioactivity? Usually, if it is a live class, a physical class, I will be putting this question to them. Anybody, I will be asking students like, can you define radioactivity? And I will be telling, you can give any definition other than one definition, okay. Then students will have that curiosity, they will be asking, what is the definition which we should not give? Now that is a common tendency, whenever I ask, define radioactivity, and you can define anything, but except one definition, can give any definition except one definition. When I say that, they will be having that interest towards what is the definition which we should not give. What is that? I will be telling like radioactivity means, don't say activity of radio. By seeing the name, don't say like activity of radio, okay, it is totally different. That is the reason I am telling. Normally by seeing the names will be giving definitions. Electrostatics means, I say study of charges at rest. Electrostatics, current, electricity, flow of charges. By seeing the name will be giving, even flow of current, in that way don't give, okay. Here radioactivity means the phenomenon in which spontaneous emission of radiations occur due to the disintegration of certain heavy nuclei. Come on, the phenomenon, you have an advantage, and if you can't, you can replay and you can listen to it. The phenomenon in which spontaneous emission of radiations occur, spontaneous emission of radiations occur due to disintegration of, spontaneous emission of radiations occur due to disintegration of certain heavy nuclei. Spontaneous emission of radiations occur due to disintegration of certain heavy nuclei. This is called as radioactivity. Once again, just I am telling the phenomenon in which spontaneous emission of radiations occur due to the disintegration of certain heavy nuclei. That is nothing but radioactivity. The radiations thus emitted are called as radioactive radiations, or even we call them as Becquerel rays, because this phenomenon has been given by Henry Becquerel. Okay, this phenomenon, it has been given by Henry Becquerel in 1896. In 1896, so we call them as even Becquerel rays or radioactive radiations or radioactive rays. These rays, what are those things means? Alpha, beta and gamma rays. About that we will be seeing. What is that alpha, what is beta and what is gamma rays? So here, see, if I take one radioactive sample, say radioactive sample in a lead block, huge lead block with a fine groove in it, fine groove, because these are emitting very powerful radiations. This is the lead block. This is the lead block in which a fine groove has been made. Inside the groove, a radioactive sample has been kept, let me say. Inside the groove, there is a radioactive sample, okay. Now here, a photographic plate, say photographic plate is the one which detects alpha, beta and gamma rays. I hope you are getting it. So now here, when it is subjected to, let me say here, and it is subjected to some electric field or magnetic field, electric field or magnetic field. Let me say here negative, I will take this as negative, and this side positive, electric field, this is positive. And after some time, this photographic plate will be affected. That photographic plate, we say it is affected. It is affected with different radiations. One will be going like this directly, one will be going in this way. One is like this, it will be at the middle, and one more radiation, it will be coming like this, and one more, it will be moving little away. This is alpha and this is beta and this is gamma. So these are the radiations here like this, but while writing properly, you try to write beta rays bending to more extent, because beta rays are light particles compared to these things, they will be moving away, okay. These are the radiations what you are getting here. Okay, these are the radiations what you are getting, alpha, beta and gamma. That is an experiment, and of course it will be done in evacuated chamber. That's a different thing. Okay, so now I need characteristics of alpha, beta and gamma rays. I'll be telling, just to try to remember those things. Alpha rays, this is alpha, say this is alpha, and here beta and here gamma. One I'll be telling, other things you can make out. Alpha rays, these are nothing but positively charged. These are nothing but positively charged. Why? They are bending towards negative plate. These are negatively charged. These are negatively charged. These are neutral. These are nothing but neutral. So these are neutral. I hope you are getting it. These are neutral. Alpha, beta, gamma, positively, negatively and as well as neutral. These are nothing but nucleus of helium. These are nothing but nucleus of helium. You are aware of it. Alpha particles means they are nothing but nucleus of helium. Okay. Beta particles are nothing but electrons, and gamma particle just electromagnetic radiations. Just electromagnetic radiations. Now here, speed of the alpha particles. We talk about speed, penetrating power, ionization power. Few things you remember. And even if you want, this alpha and beta rays are deflected by electric and magnetic fields. Alpha and beta rays are deflected by electric and magnetic fields. Gamma rays will never be deflected because gamma are neutral radiations. Gamma are neutral radiations. They will never be deflected by electric or magnetic fields. I hope you are aware of it. So now speed of alpha particles is very less. Speed of beta particles is more than alpha but less than gamma. Gamma particles will move with speed wise. If I take speed, okay, this is characteristic is speed. This will be moving with speed of light. This is less than gamma. Beta is less than gamma. Alpha speed is still less. V alpha less than V gamma. I mean V beta. That is less than V gamma. Okay. Very less actually. Alpha particles are quite heavy. Their speed will be very, very less. Okay. Beta particles around 1/10 to 1/100th of velocity of light. But gamma particles, they will travel with velocity of light always. And again, if you take penetrating power of gamma rays is quite high. Beta rays less and alpha rays, it will be still less. Penetrating power. Okay, let me put just for the sake of explanation, P alpha, penetrating power of alpha is less than penetrating power of beta, and that is less than penetrating power of gamma. Gamma rays can penetrate through 30 centimeter thickness of aluminum block. Imagine 30 centimeter thickness, scale, normal scale, just this much. 30 centimeter thickness of aluminum block they can penetrate. What about our bodies? Very happily they will penetrate, definitely. Okay, and that is what I will be telling. In near future, we may have gamma ray guns only. No question of using bullets. There might be a stage. In that stage, people might start thinking, we used to have bullets. Okay, only gamma rays. If you just put that gamma rays, it will penetrate through your body. Not only one body, in line some 2 or 3 bodies also they will penetrate. Okay. Now in alien movies and all, you will be seeing they are using gamma rays. That means they are highly sophisticated than us in a way. And again, scientifically highly advanced. In such a case, if at all if they are existing, that is a different thing. Okay, I don't want to get into that. That is penetrating power. And again, ionization power. Ionization power of alpha particles is very high, and beta particles is less. Gamma particles is very less. Ionization power of gamma particles is very less. Reason is alpha particle, it has got a shortage of what? Electrons, isn't it? It is positively charged. 2 electrons are deficient. When it is moving from air, it can pull out electrons. Then that air becomes ionized. This pulls out some electrons means that air will become ionized. Beta particles, they are negatively charged. They can knock out some electrons, that is also possible. Or even this electron can get into another atom. Then also it will become charged. Ionization power is okay, but alpha particles is very high. Gamma particles, even though energy is quite high, only when it knocks out, then only electron will be released. That possibility is very less, because gamma rays are powerful, but whereas in atoms also space will be very, atom is almost empty. Nucleus is here means electron will be somewhere else. I hope you know that size of the nucleus, size of the electron, if you compare, you can't imagine only. Okay, these are all properties. Okay, even if you want some other properties also you can make, but whereas what I need is very first alpha are positively charged, beta negatively charged, gamma neutral radiations. Alpha particles are nothing but nucleus of helium, beta particles are nothing but electrons, gamma just electromagnetic radiations. And again they are deflected by electric and magnetic fields, alpha and beta, gamma cannot be. One more common property means they all affect photographic plates. If they do not affect photographic plates, we can't determine. Even now science has been advanced to this extent. Still, you know, some radiations we have to detect by using photographic plates only. If there are some radiations which cannot be detected by photographic plates, as of now it is very difficult to detect them. Okay, maybe in an advanced technology, maybe now they might be having some things, but some years back no other particle. If some particle is not detected by photographic plates, means you can't detect in such a way. Now maybe technology is different now. Okay, so that is, and again all the other things I told, and even they cause phosphorescence and fluorescence in certain materials. How this? And now directly I will go ahead with the Soddy's group displacement law. That is, even we call it as radioactive group displacement law. Radioactive group displacement law. See, we call it as radioactive group displacement law. Group displacement law, or Soddy-Fawson. These are the names of the scientists. Soddy-Fawson group displacement law. One by one we'll be talking. Alpha decay. Alpha decay. One is alpha decay. Try to remember these things. These are all pretty simple only. Alpha decay. Very first thing, it is better to write one equation and then you can do it. When a radioactive nucleus emits an alpha particle, its atomic number decreases by 2, mass number decreases by 4. Say that is generally I will put ZXA. When it gives alpha particle, it will be Z minus 2 Y into A minus 4 plus I will write 2He4 plus some energy, some Q. Okay. Say when a radioactive, these are all you have studied earlier also. See, this is what I am telling. Even sometimes if you have a fear like physics stuff or something like that, if you have a fear which you know also you don't write, is not you are aware of it. Definitely you people are good, I am telling. You can do it, you can do wonders. Little you put your mind, definitely you can do it. 9th standard, 10th standard you have done. You have done all these things. Just try to recall. Have confidence, have confidence. And so I am telling, get good marks, you will get the rank also, CET rank also you will be getting. Get into good colleges. Now show that what you are. That is what always I will be telling. You do it and it is possible. Maybe some of you, because some hiccups will be there always in. Don't feel like just because you have failed you can't do anything. Okay, I will show you. There are many examples. My own friends, many examples. The people who have failed in supplementary in second PU mathematics, taken as a challenge, did mathematics MSc, is a very famous maths teacher. Is a very famous maths teacher. And the fellow who flunked in 10th standard PUC, he became classmate to us in BSc, second year, first year, and final year. Finally he scored. He had come to top level, and MSc he has did. He is in US. He is in US. He is a scientist. Okay, there are possibilities. You have that. Have it in your mind. Aim high, always aim high. This is a small hiccup, that's it. Okay, sometimes it is better also. Sometimes you got that hiccup and further you have to proceed like anything. Okay, so now this is ZXA y equals Z minus 2 A minus 4 plus 2He4 plus Q. This is the general equation. What is the energy released? Energy released formula, if you want, what you can write now? Energy released is nothing but Q equals mx, mass of this x, one element, minus this reactant is 1, products are 2. I can write my, okay, minus I will write. I could have written plus also, but whereas when can I write plus? I have to put like this, then plus MHE into C square, that is the energy released. Come on, you know this is nothing, mass of reactants minus mass of products. Something like what is this, Q is mx minus my, how to remember? No need of remembering. Mass of reactants, mass of products, difference into C square, that is the energy released. Okay. Specific example if you want, say 92 U 238, just I am taking 238, gives, let me say, alpha decay. This is alpha decay. What to write? 90 uranium 234, uranium 234 plus 2He4 plus energy, that's it, plus energy, specific example, that is alpha decay. Now we will talk about beta decay. What is beta decay? See, when a radioactive nucleus, say even alpha decay, once again I am telling, because you have to write even that also. What is that, when a radioactive nucleus emits an alpha particle, its atomic number decreases by 2, mass number decreases by 4, and hence it falls in the same group of periodic table. Okay. In that same group, 2 columns towards left of the parent nucleus. 92 uranium 238 becomes what it becomes? It becomes 90 thorium. In the same thing, it will be changing. Okay. 2 columns towards left. And again here beta decay, ZXA, I write ZXA emits beta particle. So then it should become Z plus 1 Y. When I write Z plus 1, it should be different element A plus minus 1 E0. Beta particle is nothing but electron plus energy again, plus energy. How do you state? You can only state. It states that when a radioactive nucleus emits a beta particle, atomic number increases by 1, mass number remains same. That's it. And it will be moving 1 column towards right. Same example if I take 92 U234, just one example I am giving. 92 U234, I mean 90 thorium 234 I will take. Why na? I taken already 92 uranium 238 becomes 90, I taken that. Okay, this is, I will write like this, 90 thorium 234, just continuing, I am continuing that. Beta decay, if I say beta decay here, 91 Pa 234 plus minus 1 E0 plus energy will be there. What is this Pa? It is called protactinium, not palladium. Palladium is Pd, Pa is protactinium. I will be telling here at this point, always I will be telling, as a second year student, you should know complete periodic table. Hydrogen to lawrencium, you should know. Always hydrogen to lawrencium, you should know. You have to keep telling hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium. In that way, you have to come until lawrencium. Okay, if not also, don't worry. One example you write. Okay, it falls, say, in the same thing, and it is 1 column towards the right. That's it. This is beta decay. Okay. Now here, gamma decay, just gamma decay. Observe this. This is gamma decay. When a radioactive nucleus emits a gamma particle, what exactly happens here? ZXA, it is in excited state, then only it will come back. ZXA, okay, plus gamma. What is the meaning? When a radioactive nucleus emits gamma particle, no change in either atomic number or mass number, or neither atomic number nor mass number, but it returns to normal state from the excited state. Usually whenever a radioactive element emits beta or alpha or beta particle, we say like it is in excited condition. It is in excited condition. From excited condition, it will come back to what? Normal state. That is, no change in either atomic number or that. Okay. Now here, one example if you want. I will start with one beta decay. One beta decay I will be starting. In a beta decay, probably one example I will be taking. Let me say 27 cobalt 60. 27 cobalt 60. So I am telling one beta decay. So it might become 28 nickel 60. 28 nickel 60. Okay, it is under excited state. It has given beta. Why? Atomic number increased. Okay, now it is under excited state. The 28 nickel, again it gives out two gamma photons, 1.17 MeV, million electron volts, and the other one is 1.33 million electron volts. So what I am telling is, when something is getting converted into beta particle is emitted or alpha particle is emitted, that nucleus, this nucleus will be under excited state. It returns to normal state. Again it will become 28 Ni 30 only, I mean 60 only, but gamma rays have been emitted. No need of worrying that also. You say like, when a radioactive nucleus emits a gamma particle, there is no change in either atomic number or in mass number. It returns to normal state from the excited state. That much you remember. That will be enough. Okay. So now that is about alpha decay, beta decay and gamma decay. Now the most important, almost most important for your examination. Okay. So that is radioactive decay law. Radioactive, okay, I will put like this, decay law or disintegration law, radioactive disintegration law, or same thing, radioactive disintegration law. Derivation, just a simple derivation and very very important derivation, radioactive disintegration law. What is that radioactive law states? It states that rate of radioactive disintegration is directly proportional to the number of atoms present in the sample at that instant. Say statement is radioactive disintegration is directly proportional to radioactive disintegration is directly proportional to what to write? Directly proportional to number of atoms present in this sample, at that instant. Once again, kelkodre correct agi. Rate of radioactive disintegration is directly proportional to the number of atoms or number of nuclei present in the sample at that instant. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಹಾಫ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ somewhere initially, just I am taking some 10,000 atoms initially. 10,000 atoms, no meaning. You know very well. In 1 gram mole of a substance, how many will be there? Means 6.023 into 10 power 23. For the sake of explanation, I am giving. Now, half-life is some 10 seconds, let me say. In 10 seconds, they will be reduced to 5,000. How many has been reduced? 5,000 has been reduced. Rate is quite high. Next 10 seconds, it will become 2,500. Half of it. Is not rate has been decreased. Rate is here proportional to 10,000, half of it. For 5,000, half of it. 2,500, further it is half of it. It is not proportional to the initial number. If it is proportional to the initial number, never you will have radioactivity, only in 2 half-lives it will be over. 10,000, 5,000, next also 5,000 means it's over. But whereas it takes infinite time, okay, for all the atoms to disintegrate. So that is a meaning, rate of radioactive disintegration is directly proportional to the number of atoms present in the sample or number of nuclei present in the sample at that instant. I hope you are getting it. So now that is a statement. Always will ask that statement, and as well you have to do statement and show that n equals, what do you say, n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರೆಕ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ. n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. After this almost I will be going ahead with quite important concepts only. I will be going ahead. Maybe in next 2 sessions I will be doing some magnetism, matter and current, electricity, alternating currents. If you are thorough with it, it is over. Next things I will be telling some important questions. You try to work it out. So n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. How to prove that? Or even number of atoms in a sample decreases exponentially with the time. Question I am telling. State radioactive decay law and show that number of atoms in a radioactive sample decreases exponentially with the time. Now derivation part you say, let n naught be the number of atoms present initially. Let n naught be the number of atoms present initially, and n be the number of atoms present at a given instant of time. I hope you're getting it. Let n naught be the number of atoms present initially and n be the number of atoms present at any given instant of time. That will be enough. Okay, now according to radioactive decay law, we are telling dn by dt. Come on, observe this. dn by dt is proportional to n, number of atoms present in the sample at that instant. dn by dt is proportional to n. Okay, now dn by dt equals, come on, remember this, dn by dt equals, I write like minus lambda into n. Proportionality sign I am removing. Immediately I have to mention about this. Idu lambda decay constant. It is decay constant. And negative sign indicates that number of atoms decreases with time. Number of atoms decreases with time. Now rearranging the terms, we'll get like this. Say rearranging the terms, you will nella bariri correct again. This is one of the most important one, but whereas I am telling you can't expect like it should come or something like that. I don't say that, I never say that. Okay, rearranging the terms, we get dn by n equals minus lambda dt. Can I write dn by n? Just I am taking dn by n this side, minus lambda dt. Okay, now after this we are integrating on integration. Okay, just these are indefinite integrals because I am not giving any limits for it. On integration you put like this. Usually after writing on integration we will be putting like this. Okay, now integration symbol I am putting, rearranging the terms and then put these symbols. And on integration, what do you get after integrating? dn by n is taken as log n. I hope all of you are aware of it. Log n. This minus lambda t plus c. Why? Indefinite integrals, you have to use constant of integration. That is, c is the constant of integration. Log n equals minus lambda t plus c. See, in indefinite integrals, what is the problem here is you have to evaluate, you have to eliminate that c. To eliminate c, go for initial conditions. Applying initial conditions, what do you get? When t equals 0, come on, when t equals 0, we write n equals n naught. Apply those initial conditions here. Then it becomes log n naught. Come on, log n naught. In place of n, I am putting n naught equals minus lambda t. T is 0. Then this term becomes 0 plus c. Say when t equals 0, this term will become 0. This term becomes 0, c. Now meaning of which is c equals log n naught. You are getting c equals log n naught. It is not a big derivation at all. dn by dt is proportional to n. dn by dt equals minus lambda into n. Rearranging the terms, dn by n is integral minus lambda dt. On integration, log n base c equals minus lambda t plus c. Now try to get this value of c. Substitute value of c here. Then it will become, you see, log n equals minus lambda t plus log n naught. Okay, now here something here. Okay, I'll remove this. However, I'll be showing the same thing only here. Okay, I'll remove this and again I'll show that here only. You understood this thing, this part, so only I'm removing this. Okay, so now log n, I'll write like log n minus log n naught. Log n minus that log n naught equals minus lambda t is there. Now log n minus log n naught means I can write like what can I write here is log n by n naught. We can write log n by n naught equals minus lambda t. Observe this one. Okay, log n by n naught equals minus lambda t. What is n by n naught? Can I write e power minus lambda t? Baribada, e power minus lambda t. Then what is n equals? Can I write n naught into e power minus lambda t? Over. This is over. N equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. And again you say, thus number of atoms in a radioactive sample decreases exponentially with the time. And even if you want one small graphical representation, you can put like this, n, and this is t. Okay, here you put like this, don't touch it to x-axis, this is n naught, that is n naught. You should not touch it to x-axis, that's it. Come on, you see, radioactive decay law. It states that rate of radioactive disintegration is directly proportional to the number of atoms present in the sample at that instant. Okay. Now let n naught be the number of atoms present initially, n be the number of atoms present at a given instant of time t. Then according to radioactive decay law, we know that dn by dt is proportional to n. dn by dt is proportional to n. dn by dt equals minus lambda into n. Lambda is decay constant. Negative sign indicates that number of atoms decreases with time. Rearranging the terms, dn by n equals this. Okay. And on integration, log n equals minus lambda t plus c. To eliminate c, you write that adan bariri. To eliminate c, applying initial conditions. Applying initial conditions. That is when t equals 0, n equals n naught. Then c equals log n naught. Substitute that back, log n equals, okay, log n minus log n naught. When you substitute that, log n minus log n naught equals minus lambda t. Say here I have substituted log n equals minus lambda t plus log n naught. ಆಮೇಲೆ log n naught ನ ಈ ಕಡೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು. log n minus log n naught is minus lambda t. log n by n naught minus lambda t. n by n naught is here, this is not, minus is not there. Don't get confused, this is something different. Okay, n by n naught is e power minus lambda t, and then here this is nothing but n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. This is one of the most important derivations. Okay, here some other things like what is half-life, and then what is the expression for half-life, and then how to define decay constant, and only those things only will be seeing, not more than that. Okay. Now here, next I will talk about half-life. Half-life. What is half-life? That we'll be seeing now. We denote it with Tm. Half-life means Tm, or even T half, I mean T or T half. We write like this also. I'll use this T, half-life. What is half-life means? It is a time during which number of atoms in a sample reduces to half of its initial value. That is what I was telling. 10,000 becomes 5,000, 5,000 becomes 2,500. That time is called as half-life. It is the time during which number of atoms in a radioactive sample reduces to half of its initial value. That is half-life. Okay. Now expression for half-life. Come on, we'll see the expression for half-life. What is the expression for half-life? Just let me put this. This is also an important one. Expression for half-life. What is the expression for half-life means? You start with, again, according to radioactive decay law, or even before that, you start like, let n naught be the number of atoms present initially, and n be the number of atoms present at a given instant of time. According to radioactive decay law, these are all pretty simple derivations compared to anything. According to radioactive decay law, we write n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. Directly I am making use of that. n equals n naught into e power minus lambda. I am just going ahead with from the definition of half-life. From the definition of half-life. Say when t equals t, say you have to write clearly. When t equals capital T, what is n equals? n naught by 2, n equals n naught by 2. When small t equals capital T, n equals n naught by 2. So now in place of n, I will write n naught by 2, not called really, n naught by 2 equals n naught into, what to write? n naught into e power minus lambda capital T. Minus lambda capital T. ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. When n is n naught by 2, t is nothing but capital T. Capital T is half life I am taking. Now is it not n naught cancels. Better thing you put like half equals 1 by e power lambda t. This implies, you know, this implies e power lambda t equals 2. Now lambda t equals, you know, log 2 base e. Log 2 base e. This can be written as, you know, log 2 base e. When you convert it, it will be 2.303 log 2 base 10. Okay, we are converting Neperian logarithms into common logarithms. 2.303 log 2 base 10. And you know, again lambda t equals 2.303. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. log 2 is nothing but 0.3010. 0.3010. When you multiply this, here I will put. So when you multiply that, lambda t equals, what do you get? Come on, here I am multiplying that. When I multiply that there, okay, that lambda t equals, you are getting like this, lambda t equals 0.693, you will be getting 0.693. What is t equals means? 0.693 by lambda. This is the derivation. Very simple derivation. That's it. This is 0.693 by lambda. Okay. Now, even you don't have that mean life. Mean life, I could have done it, but whereas it is not there for you. So mean life definition is there. I'll be telling, and relation between mean life and half life, and then I'll be telling even definition of decay constant. So now this is half life. Once again, expression for half life. Okay, the expression for half life. What is half life? It is a time during which number of atoms in a sample reduces to half of its initial value. I told let n naught be the number of atoms present initially and n be the number of atoms present at any given instant of time t. According to radioactive decay law, n equals n naught into e power minus lambda t. From the definition of half life, when t is small t, when small t is capital T, n is n naught by 2. Write clearly, n is n naught by 2, n naught into e power minus lambda t. Half equals n naught cancels, e power lambda t equals 2. Lambda t equals log 2 base e, and then it will be 2.303 log 2 base 10. We know that already I have explained, just it is a revision. Log 2 base 10 is 0.3010. When you multiply this, you are getting 0.693. If it is so, t equals 0.693 by lambda. Okay, that is. Further, here I will be talking about mean life or average life. Okay, that is denoted by mean life or average life. This definition is also important. Just Tm I call, or T average also you can put. What do you mean by this mean life or average life means? It is defined as the ratio of life of all the individual atoms, to the number of atoms present in the sample. That's it. It is defined as the ratio of total life of all individual atoms to the number of atoms. So that is mean life equals, I write like total life of all individual atoms. Total life of all individual atoms divided by all individual atoms divided by total number of atoms present in the sample. Total number of atoms present in the sample. Note collectively, total number of atoms present in the sample. It is like average height or average life also. Average height in a classroom, how do you take? Average height in a classroom means there are 40 students, let me say there are 40 students. How do you go ahead? Each and everybody's height will be measured. You are adding it, divided by 40. That will be easy. Average life, it is different. total life of human beings, if you say, okay, some people might die in the womb, that is 0, and some people might survive for months, for minutes, for years, and everybody's lifetime you have to take. Total life of all the individuals and divided by total number of people, that is nothing but what? Mean life or average life you will be getting. Okay. So now total life of all individual atoms divided by total number of atoms present, that is nothing but Tm. It can be shown that, you try to remember this, Tm equals 1 by lambda, Tm equals 1 by lambda. It is nothing but reciprocal of decay constant. Okay. Now we know these things. Now one simple derivation, small derivation, relation between half-life and mean life. Relation between half-life and mean life. Half-life and mean life. Okay. Very, very simple derivation. It's a very, very simple derivation. Relation between half-life and mean life. What to write now? First, idu nodಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, from the definition of half-life. From the definition of half-life, we have T equals 0.693 by lambda. 0.693 by lambda, call it as equation 1. From the definition of mean life, ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ simple derivation ಇಲ್ವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. From the definition of mean life, just now I told mean life or average life, Tm equals, just before this I told it is 1 by lambda, call this as 2. Observe these two. When I observe these two, 1 by lambda is nothing but Tm. So what do you get here? T equals, you are getting T equals 0.693 Tm. 0.693 Tm. Okay. Here you try to remember one thing, Tm is greater than T, but by seeing this immediately don't come to a conclusion T is greater, Tm is more than that. In case Tm is 10 seconds, this will become 6.93 seconds. That will become 6.93 seconds. I hope you are getting it. That is how. Okay. Now finally here I would like to define only decay constant. What is decay constant? This definition we will be seeing. Okay, decay constant. That is, we are using already term decay constant. What is this decay constant? This definition is also important. Okay. What is the decay constant means? We say like, okay, I will put it in this way. I will go for, according to radioactive decay law, n0 into e power minus lambda T. That is according to radioactive decay law. Let me put in one way I will be taking. In case when T equals 1 by lambda, not relate. When T equals 1 by lambda, what will happen to this? N equals n0 into e power minus lambda into 1 by lambda. Lambda cancels, e to the power minus 1. It becomes n0 into e to the power minus 1. This is n. Okay. Then can I write n equals n0 by e? n0 by e. You know the value of e is n0 by 2.718. You should remember that. E value is 2.718. 2.718. When you do that, you will be getting it as 0.3679. Around n equals, this calculation if you do it, you will be getting 0.3679 times n0, or even we write n equals 36.79% of n0. So now how I define decay constant means, I say like it is the reciprocal of the time. T is 1 by lambda, lambda must be 1 by T. It is the lambda must be 1 by T. It is a reciprocal of the time during which number of atoms in a radioactive sample reduces to, you can take 37%. 36.79 means you can make it as 37% of its initial value. Okay. It is defined as a reciprocal of the time during which number of atoms in a sample reduces to 37% of its initial value. That is nothing but definition of decay constant. Now here, final things, units of radioactivity. What are the units of radioactivity? Means SI unit of radioactivity, very first. That is important. SI unit of radioactivity. This is only most important. SI unit of radioactivity. It is called as becquerel. It is called as becquerel. 1 becquerel equals that is 1 BQ. We'll be writing 1 BQ equals 1 DPS, 1 disintegration per second. It is activity of a radioactive sample in which 1 atom disintegrates per second. And again you have got even Rutherford. What is Rutherford means? That is also one of the unit of radioactivity. This one Rutherford is nothing but 10 power 6 DPS we write, or 10 power 6 becquerel also we can write. Meaning of which is, this is the activity of radioactive sample in which 10 power 6 atoms disintegrates per second. But the practical unit of this is Curie. Practical unit of radioactivity is nothing but Curie. 1 Curie we write 3.7 into 10 power 10. 3.7 into 10 power 10. Okay. Meaning of which is, this is the activity of a radioactive sample in which 3.7 into 10 power 10 atoms disintegrates per second. Okay. Now, some formula like n equals, you try to remember this. In solving problems it will be helpful. 2 power n, where the small n is number of half-lives. Small n is number of half-lives. And even small t is nothing but n into capital T. T is half-life. This T is n into capital T. Try to remember this. This is about radioactivity, and as well as this chapter nuclei. This radioactivity comes under nuclei. Okay. So in the next session we will take up some magnetism matter or current electricity, something like that. We will complete those two things, and then I will go to some important questions. Okay. Thank you.